Jey Uso gets surprising new partner after Jimmy fallout. Jey Uso just got a new tag team partner, and it's the last person anyone expected. After walking out on his twin brother Jimmy on Raw, after years of being one half of the most decorated tag team in WWE history, Jey showed up at a live event in Melbourne and teamed with Shinsuke Nakamura. And they won. And they yeeted together. Let me repeat that. Jey Uso and Shinsuke Nakamura yeeted together after beating Bron Breakker and his partner. If you had that on your wrestling bingo card, you're either lying or you're a time traveler. Welcome back to the Wrestling Hidden Insight, and today we're breaking down this shocking new alliance, what it means for Jey's future, why this pairing actually makes more sense than you'd think, and whether we're about to see the birth of a new tag team or if this was just a one-time live event thing that'll never make it to television. Let's start with the context because the Jey and Jimmy situation has been building for weeks and finally exploded on Raw. Jey has been going through changes ever since Roman Reigns started mentoring him and turning him into a more aggressive, more focused, more selfish version of himself. Jimmy has been watching his twin Jimmy away because he's tired of being the tag team guy who never gets his own spotlight. It's classic wrestling family drama, and it's been compelling television. On the most recent episode of Raw, everything came to a head. Jey told Jimmy earlier in the day that he wouldn't be helping him anymore because he had his own goals to focus on. Specifically, winning the #1 contenders match against CM Punk and LA Knight to earn a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship. That was Jey's priority. Not his brother. Not family. Not the Usos' legacy. Just his own ambition. That's Roman's influence right there, teaching Jey to put himself first no matter what. And Jimmy, being Jimmy, had to deal with that rejection and go into his match against Bronson Reed knowing his brother wasn't going to have his back. And of course, after Jimmy's match, the Vision attacked. Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed jumped Jimmy and started destroying him. And despite everything Jey had said, despite claiming he was done helping Jimmy, family instinct kicked in. Jey ran down to the ring with a steel chair and chased off Breakker and Reed before they could do permanent damage. So Jey saved his brother. That's the good news. The bad news is that Jey was absolutely furious about having to do it. He felt like Jimmy put him in that position. He felt like Jimmy didn't listen when he said stay out of his business. So after saving Jimmy, Jey didn't check on him, didn't ask if he was okay, didn't help him up. He just shouted at him angrily, basically screaming "I told you so," and then walked out. Left his twin brother lying in the ring, hurt and alone. That's where the USO Brotherhood stands right now. Fractured. Damaged. Possibly beyond repair. And later that night in the main event, Jey competed in that #1 contenders match and lost. CM Punk won, becoming the top challenger for the World Heavyweight Championship. So Jey failed to achieve the goal he sacrificed his relationship with Jimmy to pursue. That's tragic. That's Shakespearean. That's the kind of storytelling that makes wrestling compelling when it's done right. Jey chose ambition over family and came up empty, and now he has to live with the consequences of that choice. So when WWE rolled into Melbourne for a live event, everyone was wondering how Jey would be positioned. Would he be alone? Would he reconcile with Jimmy? Would he lean further into this solo run that Roman is pushing him toward? Well, the answer was none of the above. Instead, Jey Uso teamed with Shinsuke Nakamura, and together they faced Bron Breakker and his partner. And this is where it gets interesting because on the surface, Jey and Nakamura seem like the most random pairing imaginable. But when you think about it, it actually makes a weird kind of sense. Shinsuke Nakamura is a former WWE champion, a King of the Ring winner, and one of the most talented wrestlers on the entire roster. But he's also been in a weird holding pattern for a while. He's not in any major storylines. He's not feuding with anyone significant. He's just kind of there working matches, being Shinsuke but not really being featured in a way that matches his talent level. Pairing him with Jey Uso, who's one of the hottest acts on Raw right now, gives Nakamura something meaningful to do. It elevates him by association. And it gives Jey a partner who's credible, experienced, and different enough from Jimmy that it feels like a genuine fresh start. And apparently the match was great. Jey hit a spear on Bron Breakker, which is significant because Bron has made the spear his signature move over the past few years. He hits it with a ferocity that's unmatched. So Jey using the spear on Bron is a statement. It's Jey saying I can do what you do, I can beat you at your own game, and I don't need my brother or the bloodline to do it. Bron couldn't kick out and Jey and Nakamura got the win. But the moment that really has people talking is what happened after the match. Jey and Nakamura celebrated together. And they yeeted. Together. Shinsuke Nakamura, the king of strong style, the artist formerly known as the most charismatic wrestler in New Japan, was throwing up the ones and yeeting with Jey Uso. That's beautiful. That's cross-cultural exchange. That's two completely different wrestling styles and personalities finding common ground through the universal language of celebration. Now, the big question is whether this is a one-time thing or the beginning of something more. Live events are great for testing out new pairings and seeing how fans react without committing to anything on television. WWE has done this countless times over the years. They'll put two wrestlers together at house shows, gauge the response, and if it works, they'll bring it to TV. If it doesn't, it stays at the live events and nobody talks about it. So the fact that Jey and Nakamura teamed up in Melbourne could mean absolutely nothing. It could have been purely a booking convenience because Jimmy was written off as injured and they needed someone for Jey to team with. Or it could be WWE planting seeds for a new alliance that we'll see develop on Raw in the coming weeks. Let's explore what a Jey and Nakamura tag team would actually look like on television. First, you've got the in-ring chemistry. Jey is one of the best tag team wrestlers of all time. He knows how to work with a partner. He knows how to make his partner look good. He knows tag team psychology inside and out. Nakamura is an incredible singles wrestler with a unique style that blends strong style with charisma and unpredictability. Together, they could have genuinely great matches against any team on the roster. The Vision, the New Day, whoever. The talent is there.